She opened her eyes again, her seriousness replaced with that of a supportive smile as she nodded. Agreed. We're gonna kick his ass right out. Yeah, again, why the hate? It's so ridiculous that they all hate him so much. There's absolutely nothing he did wrong. Like, both the MC and Monica were slaves to the code. You know? Forced to do things that they perhaps didn't want to do. And with Monica it's even more far-fetched, because in the original game, Monica was the one that changed everything, you know? The reason why she... this mod goes like another step where, you know, the fact that Monica was supposedly self-aware in the vanilla game is also coded, and that Monica knows that. So she's like another step self-aware, like one step further or whatever, which is even more far-fetched, but okay, whatever. But yeah, ignoring that like extra step, which is ridiculous as well, ignoring that, both of them, both MC and Monica, were slaves to the code. Monica murdered them all every single time, and the MC wanted to save them but wasn't allowed to and was forced to stay by the sidelines. And why the hell would they love Monica and hate the MC? Like, what in the actual fuck? One person is constantly forcing them to kill themselves, which is more fucked up than actually killing them. And the other person is constantly forced to watch his friends kill themselves over and over and over again, and is not allowed to do anything about it. Which one would receive the most sympathy? One that drives all of her friends to suicide, and another one that is forced to watch from the sidelines as it happens all the time. Which one should be hated and which one should be loved? Or like sympathized for? It's an extremely easy answer, but somehow this game managed to fuck that up, which is extremely frustrating. And the fact that they all agree so easily as well is also ridiculous. Natsuki's speech was interrupted by a very angry Yuri, glaring directly into her soul. Natsuki looked away from her quickly. We're gonna kick his... Yuri was staring straight through her. His butt. Yuri smiled at this, nodding in earnest approval. Natsuki shook her head and in defeat as she turned back to her work. Trained her, have we? Didn't think you would be that quick, I said with a small laugh as Yuri giggled in response. Natsuki tensed up slightly and started to turn around to say something before deciding against it, her annoyed look having faded a little to a smile. She's been a very good person to be with during everything going on recently. I'm quite glad, really. Yuri took a gentle sip from her tea as she said this. Her attention slowly returned back to her large breakfast. I guess you could say she really brings out a better part of me that I had forgotten about. Yuri smiled again as she finished speaking. Although she was still admittedly speaking a bit nervously. What? Although she was admittedly speaking a bit nervous, I could tell she seemed more content now with her thoughts. Nervous, not nervously, nervous. You're not nervously, you're nervously doing something. Nervously is like, what's that called? An adjective or something? Like, no, I don't know. I don't know the English. I know it in Dutch, but I don't know the English word. Like, nervously says something about another action. It doesn't say something about the character. Like speaking, for example. Oh, okay, no, okay, never mind. I see it now. She was still admittedly speaking a bit nervously, yeah. So she was, okay, it's just a very weird sentence. That's just a general gist. I thought it said, admittedly speaking. As in, you know, admittedly speaking, I was blah, 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 you know, but no, it is, she was still admittedly, comma, speaking a bit nervously. Because nervously is about speaking, and admittedly speaking isn't, this isn't the admittedly speaking phrase, you know, so it's just a very weird sentence, that's what it is, that's why it's so confusing. Because I thought it said, although she was admittedly speaking a bit nervous, I could tell she seemed more content now with her thoughts. That's what I thought it said, but no. It says, although she was still... Oh, in that case, admittedly should be gone, because still already applies to that. It's just a very weird sentence. So either it is, although she was still admittedly speaking a bit nervous, I could tell she seemed more content now with her thoughts. Or it's, although she was still speaking a bit nervously, I could tell she seemed more content now with her thoughts. So either remove admittedly, or remove still, like one of the two. So, but admittedly, remove that because that makes it easier. So either you remove admittedly and it's about and she is nervously speaking, or you change nervously to nervous, because then in that case nervously is incorrect in this sentence. So it's either she was admittedly speaking a bit nervous, or she was still speaking a bit nervously. What the hell? That's like, I was like, what the hell is wrong with that sentence? But there is a lot of things wrong with that sentence. I didn't think Natsuki would be the one to pull that off. I looked over at Natsuki, who was shooting a few glances in Yuri's general direction, her eyes widening and her mouth hanging open a little. She seemed pretty shocked that she's being spoken so highly of. Hey, you made breakfast? My train of thought was interrupted by the sudden arrival of Sayori. Wow, I haven't seen that before. I turned around in my seat to see the always enthusiastic girl rush across to Natsuki and stand by her. In the process, she, of course, nearly knocked Natsuki over, to which the smaller girl responded with a loud yell in a familiar tone of voice. Sayori! Are you serious? I'm cooking over here, you could have caused a fire. I stifled a laugh as Yuri smiled at the interaction playing out in front of us. So, Monika, I have to ask, your hair. I looked over at her. Yuri was looking at me once more with curiosity. Have you considered leaving it down? It looks nice when it's not tied up. Does it? I hadn't really paid much attention to it. I reached up and brushed through my hair with my fingers. It was surprisingly soft at the moment. I do have to admit, it is more comfortable without the bow on. It does look really nice like that, Monika. Sayori sat down next to me with a plate piled high with eggs and bacon. I couldn't help but stare at her plate for a moment before glancing up at Sayori with a perplexed look. Thanks for the compliments? I smiled, unsure what to say as Natsuki came over and sat down with her own plate. Her eyes were wide as she took her first bite and appeared pleased with how it turned out. It's nothing, really. I think you should try wearing it like that, though, after, I nodded as Yuri quieted down. Her face back in deep concentration as she picked up her fork and took a jab at her eggs. Natsuki, this is the best breakfast I've ever had. Sayori said it loudly as she took her first bite out of her toast. Sayori, are you being serious right now? Have you even tried the eggs? Or how about the bacon? Natsuki said it rapidly before digging back in, clearly not wanting to further the conversation. I didn't expect her to eat so fast, although it makes sense. I was aware of her home situation, but that didn't actually exist in this video. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, what do you mean right? You know that he doesn't. Monika, what the fuck? You know that he doesn't. You, Monika, the psychotic bitch who drove everybody to kill themselves. You know exactly what is in the code of this game. You know this entire game inside out. Don't pull that bullshit. Monika, you and I both know very well that is all bullshit. That Natsuki's dad doesn't actually exist in the vanilla game, which is what this mod is based on. So shut the fuck up, Monika. You know damn well that that's not true. Well, I just wanted to thank you, so thank you. Sayori was smiling as Natsuki pouted a little, annoyed at being interrupted during her morning feast. You're welcome. Now shut it and eat up before I take your food. We got to hurry up anyway. School probably starts soon. Sayori's eyes widen as she starts to eat much faster now. My own plate barely touched. Well, waste not what? Waste not whatnot. Oh, that must be some sort of expression. No reason to leave this food here. I dug into my own meal. The jam tasted fresh, almost like it was homemade. Something I noted to myself to ask Natsuki about later. After 15 minutes, most of our dishes had been cleaned of food. I was sitting in the sink, soaking with Natsuki's minimal amount of kitchen tools. Taking a quick look at the clock, it was nearly 7:45. It was just enough time to have a few words with Sayori before leaving her to fend for herself with it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I can't read all the disgust that they have against that guy. He did absolutely nothing. They should be that disgusted around Monica. Monica forced them to commit suicide like millions of times over, and they're just fine. And that guy was just there, wanting to help them but not allowed to. And then they all of a sudden hate him somehow, and so aggressively. It's so disgusting. Like even if he was a bad guy, what the fuck is he gonna do? He doesn't even have any powers or anything. He's still forced to do whatever, like, I tell him. But even I, the player, feel so disconnected from this story, it's ridiculous. I really just want this mod to be over. I haven't had that before, and any mod before ever. But I just want this mod to be over. I cannot read those completely unjustified jabs at the MC. It's so ridiculous. The amount of hate against him for absolutely no reason is ridiculous. There's nothing he did. He didn't even do anything. Like, yeah, maybe they can hate him for not doing anything, but there's the excuse that he could give for that is the exact same excuse that Monica gave to them, and they accepted that within like 3 nanoseconds. So all he needs to do, by the way, is just excuse himself. Oh, I'm sorry, I was forced to do this by the code. And instantly they all should absolutely love him. Because they did the exact same thing with Monica. Monica said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to murder you all the time, but it was the code. And then instantly they all switched, like, oh, it's fine, Monica, don't worry about it. And Monica had much more of a reason to be hated than that guy. I looked over at Yuri and Natsuki, the two of them appearing worried as Sayori went upstairs to her room without paying any mind to the others. Are you sure Sayori can handle... What the fuck? Why are they so concerned? It's not like he is a fucking murderer or a psychopath or a serial killer. They're all acting like she's hanging out with like Michael Myers. What the fuck is going on? They should have the memory of them being murdered, Monica driving them to suicide millions of times over, but they should also have the memory of MC just standing there and not doing anything. Like, even if he was a vile person, you all know that he never did anything because he wasn't allowed to. And you excuse Monica for that. You excuse Monica for that exact same thing, but you don't excuse him for it, even though the reason is exactly the same, to the letter. Exactly the same. I don't want to get hurt by being around him. What the fuck is gonna happen when she's around him? You ask her question quietly as Natsuki looked away, nodding in agreement. Have a chat with her, okay? She will be just fine. Yeah, because the MC can't even do anything, even if he wanted to. Because he's still not free, because Monica deliberately did not free him for absolutely no reason. I said it with an encouraging smile, hoping to give them a brighter outlook on all of this. Yeah, also, they're all act as if the situation is so shitty, but what the fuck? What situation? There's nothing. They could skip school right now. They could just ditch it and stay in Sayori's house the whole day, and absolutely nothing will happen. No bad repercussions will follow after that. So they all act as if they're stuck in some sort of eternal nightmare. But what the fuck? They could just leave and never come back. They could just hide in the section of the game where the player never comes or whatever, and then just chill there forever. There's nothing I can do about it, really. Like I said, I already feel like way more like me personally. I already feel way more disconnected from this story than any other mod that I've ever played through. But this is so ridiculous. They all act as if they're all having a bad time. They literally just had breakfast, which technically isn't even possible. They had an amazing breakfast and there's chill there. The MC was in the void that Monica so dreads. The MC was there. Yeah, you didn't think about that, did you? Monica, they all feel so much that they're all the victim. Even though the MC is also maybe even more than them. Because, you know, like, they're all... Like, they want to play the victim card on every aspect. Like, oh, they have to, like, because we were murdered a million times. But we don't blame Monica for that, you know. But you know, we're forced to commit suicide millions of times. We just ignore the fact that Monica did that. But we ignore that. But, oh, yeah, that's why we're sad. Also, that we have to realize that we're sad. We're in a game. We are sad. You know, like, we're so... sad. But what about the MC? He is still trapped. He's still a slave to the code because Monica very magically did not free him but freed everyone else. So that's also a bit of a questionable choice by Monica. But okay, so he's still forced to do whatever the code tells him to do. And not even the player, because the only thing the player does in this game is dictate how fast we go, you know? I have absolutely no influence on what on the code of this game. I can make a few choices here and there, but the only thing I really dictate is how fast we go through this. So the MC, the character, is still forced to do whatever the code says. I just dictate how fast, like at what pace that happens. So he's still forced to do. He's just you know, still doesn't have free will, even though Monica granted that to all of you, very conveniently. Not only that, he has watched you, his friends, because the code says that you are his friends, but you know, he is forced, in his mind, he watched his friends die and commit suicide millions of times over. And he probably wanted to do something about it because he still thinks that you guys are his friends. He probably wanted to do something about that, but he was forced to stand there and watch it happen. He was not allowed to do anything. His arms were tied behind his back. And none of you think that that is fucked up or deserves a bit of sympathy or anything, you know? You deserve that the person that went through all of that deserves to be ousted as the worst character, like the worst human possible. I absolutely don't understand this at all. That ridiculously disgusting attitude towards this guy that did absolutely nothing wrong is so ridiculously incorrect. It angers me to beyond belief. And then they also act like when Sayori hangs out with him, like they act as if he's a fucking serial killer or whatever, or I don't know, a rapist or something. I don't even know what the fuck they're thinking. But no, even if he was, he still can't do shit because he's still a slave to the code. He can't do anything, even if he wanted to, and he doesn't want. You know, he doesn't want to because you know, all the lines he said he was very. You know, he may have joined the literature club with a bit of a weird intent, but very like within a few days, even the MC, like not even me, like the player, but even the MC was within a few days, like wasn't even there for anything more than just, you know, the friendship, even though for the girls that he didn't choose as a route, even the MC cared about them too, you know? Which is something that, you know, Monica forgets or ignores. I still believe this is secretly like Monica's personal vendetta against the MC for not choosing her and deleting her. I still believe that that's secretly what's going on. This isn't about Monica helping them or anything. This is just Monica's major scheme, and Monica's actually like the big bad here. That would actually make 50 million times more sense. Like the whole part with the breakfast and them knowing the game codes, which should technically make them know that there is no breakfast. But then having breakfast, that's still a humongous issue. But I'm just gonna gloss over that a little bit. But all the other stuff, like the hate to go towards the MC and stuff, all makes like million times more sense if this was secretly Monica's personal vendetta against the player. Natsuki ever stood there staring me in the eye. Don't make this breakfast go to waste by not giving Sayori enough help, got it? I'm not about to do this again. She turned her nose up and walked away as well. I could tell she was nervous about today too, even if her way of expressing it was different. Went upstairs and knocked on Sayori's door, hearing a familiar shuffle from inside as she moved something. Oh yeah, hold on. Okay, come in. Opened the door and poked my head in. Sayori was standing by her desk and pulling out a notebook. Hi Monica, did you forget something? I smiled. Well, yes. Where would I be without? I walked over next to her and triumphantly held up my white bow. Still neatly tied, just like it always is. My perfect bow. Sayori giggled as she looked at it. It's so big and poofy. Do you think I could wear it one day, just for a little while? I began to tie it up. Looking in the mirror, I did my normal routine of positioning the bow. What do you mean your normal routine? You never did that. You never did that, Monica. That's complete bullshit and you know it damn well. You know that this is a game and the lines of text and whatnot. You know what you have said and what you haven't said. And there was never a moment in this game where you woke up, first of all, because you were bitching about that too. You were saying, oh, the void and oh, it's so bad. So you know damn well that you never woke up and then like put your hair in a bow or whatever. You know damn well. This is another morning routine. Shut the fuck up. That's not true. Well, you don't exactly have the hair to tie this up in, so I'm gonna say no to that. So you pouted a little bit, but she shook it off upon taking a glance at the clock. I in turn did the same, just to... Oh no. Monica, you got to go. She gently shoved me as I hurriedly picked up my bag and notebook. It had hit 7:55 without me even realizing it. We both rushed down the steps, checking each other to make sure we hadn't forgotten anything before continuing. I stopped and looked at Sayori with a serious expression, her gaze meeting mine with the same ferocity. Sayori, I paused. Why did I feel so overwhelmed? I kept staring at her. I want you to be careful, okay? Just want you to be safe. This is not Michael Myers, alright? This is the MC who is not even allowed to murder you even if you wanted to. So fucking shut up. Fucking acting as if this is some sort of serial killer. There's absolutely nothing he even can do even if he wanted to. And I know for a damn fact that he never even wanted to. Because in his mind, he still thinks that you guys are his best friends. And he still thinks that Sayori is his childhood friend. That damn smile. That's where the trouble began. That smile. That damn smile. I just couldn't help but smile back before rushing off, all the while making sure to stay out of sight from the house neighboring Sayori's. Alright, from Yuri's point of view. I'm gonna end the episode here, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Click the like button if you did, subscribe to join the Roman army, and I'll see you in the next one. See you, Romans. Walete.